Hey everybody, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And you're watching Tesla Time News.
Episode 222.
On Now You Know.
We are brought to you, as always, by our amazing Patreon patrons. If you head over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. You get access to our Patreon bonus stories.
Oh, and at the $10 level, we're discontinuing the signed poster at the end of the year. So if you want that perk, sign up soon.
Yeah, so many people have been signing up at the $10 level and saying, hey, don't send me a poster. I just signed up for the Investor Club. So we decided we would save some paper at the end of the year. If you want the poster, sign up by the end of the year and we'll send you out a poster. If you don't want the poster, you can still sign up by the end of the year and just tell us that you don't want the poster and we won't send it.
And we're sponsored by BigBattery.com with the best battery prices in the USA guaranteed. If you've got something you need to power, from homes to cars, RVs to boats, and much more, BigBattery.com has you covered, offering the newest battery tech. Use the code NOWYOUKNOW to save 5% off your purchase today at BigBattery.com. And this week's episode is sponsored by Blinkist.
Blinkist has over 3,000 nonfiction books that you can read in a blink.
Yeah, I just read The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning by Margareta Magnusson.
Death cleaning?
Yeah, the Swedish call it dostodning. To be honest, I probably never would have bought the book because buying a book is a commitment.
A commitment?
Yeah, I have so many books that I want to read. I have stacks of them. But the downside of this is that I'm reluctant to want to pick up a new book. But Blinkist solves the problem for me.
Can you remind our viewers what blinks are again?
Yeah, you see, with Blinkist, you can either read or listen to short blinks of a book in just 15 minutes or less right here on their app.
So you find yourself blinking more books than you normally would?
You know how Elon talks about how Neuralink is being a way to speed up the brain-machine interface? Well, I kind of feel like I've got my own Neuralink.
You've hacked the reading system. If only Gutenberg could see you now.
Blinkist is really an enjoyable way to learn more and to discover books that I never would have had time to read.
The first 100 people to use our link are going to get unlimited access for 1 week to try out Blinkist.
You'll also get 25% off if you want to try the full membership.
And the 7-day trial is completely free. You can cancel at any time during that period. And we're sponsored by our friends at Lesser Evil.
Healthy snacks full of healthy ingredients.
We're all going to snack. Let's do it healthier.
All available on their website at lesserevil.com. All right, so Dirty Tesla shows how full self-driving beta version 2020.44.15.4 can not only handle a deer crossing the road.
Oh yeah, oh yes, nice. Swerved for that deer, it displayed it here, hit the brakes and swerved for it.
Yeah, that just happened.
Wow.
But also, how about darkness?
Exterior lights off, fog lights off. So the lights are off. There's still, of course, a little bit of light, and I think the daytime running lights are on. But let me cancel this nav so I don't have to censor that for you. So without headlights, we can turn up the speed a little bit. The car is doing fine. I don't know what it can see or how it can see. I guess I can save a little clip for you here. Maybe we can add that in so you can see exactly what the cameras are seeing.
Yeah, that just happened. 2 things that humans can barely do, full self-driving beta just did.
So thank you to Dirty Tesla. You should go check out the full video on his awesome YouTube channel where he's showing everything the full self-driving beta is up to. According to Electrek, Tesla has reduced the price of full self-driving.
Yes! Yes!
No.
Yes!
No. For EAP owners.
For what?
Enhanced Autopilot owners. So people who had already bought their car with enhanced autopilot, they can now get $1,000 off of full self-driving. And this is as of last Saturday.
This is always so confusing with Tesla.
Yeah.
They do things like this.
I
thought the price was going up. Now it's going down.
It is going up. Remember that Tesla raised the price of full self-driving from $7,000 to $8,000 in July, and then up by another $2,000 in October to its current price of $10,000. But now it appears that for owners that already bought enhanced autopilot, and you will have known if you did this, basically, there was a time where you could buy enhanced autopilot, nothing, or enhanced autopilot and full self-driving. So if you didn't buy the full self-driving at the time, you can now do it for $1,000 off.
Oh, okay. I wonder how long that's going to last.
So Elon just came out with a new email to employees, and every time he comes out with this email, it's pretty much every quarter, and it pretty much says pretty much the same thing, but every time he does it, the news media goes, "Oh my gosh, guys, did you hear what Elon said? This is some crazy stuff," even though he says it every quarter.
Anyway, here's what he said, the whole email, so you can parse it yourself. At a time like this, when our stock is reaching new highs, it may seem as though spending carefully is not as important. This is definitely not true. When looking at our actual profitability, it is very low at around 1% for the past year. Investors are giving us a lot of credit for future profits, but if, at any point, they conclude that's not going to happen, our stock will immediately get crushed like a souffle under a sledgehammer. Much more important, in order to make our cars affordable, we have to get smarter about how we spend money. This is a tough game of pennies, requiring thousands of good ideas to improve part cost, a factory process, or simplify the design while increasing quality and capabilities. A great idea would be one that saves $5, but the vast majority are 50 cents here or 20 cents there. In order to make the electric revolution happen, we must make electric cars, stationary batteries, and solar affordable to all. Thanks and great working with you, as always, Elon.
Wow, so there's some pretty bombastic stuff in that email, and it's not. Elon comes out with basically the same-ish email every quarter. It's usually like, we need to get sales up or we need to do something, and if we don't do it, bad stuff's going to happen.
Right.
And the unique thing about this is that most CEOs are not sending emails to the whole company unless it's like, here's our quarterly newsletter. And in other news, Rob Frangelschman was just promoted to boring. And you're like, okay, whatever. That's going in my, trash folder. The emails that Elon writes are pretty motivating. They're pretty short, and they're directed to people who are actually Tesla shareholders, because almost all employees at Tesla have Tesla stock options. And so that means that they have a bigger vested interest in the company itself than most employees at most companies.
Yeah, and it's empowering because as an employee, you actually get to feel like, wait, if I can save a few pennies, I'm going to make a big difference here.
And so these are one of the things that we like about Elon, is that he sends out these sorts of emails to employees, but it's very easy to take them out of context and be like, Elon thinks that Tesla's going to get crushed like a souffle under a sledgehammer. It's like, that's not really what he said at all.
How do you solve a problem like Nikola?
How do you take vaporware and pin it down?
How do you solve a problem like Nikola? How do you hold a 3D render in your hand?
Bravo.
Oh, thank you. So the question was, how is GM going to back out of the deal with Nikola with as little egg on its face as possible? That is the question. And the answer is this.
The agreement between Nikola and GM is subject to negotiation and execution of definitive documentation acceptable to both parties. The Memorandum of Understanding does not include the previously contemplated GM equity stake in Nikola or the development of the Nikola Badger. As previously announced, the Nikola Badger program was dependent on an OEM partnership. Nikola will refund all previously submitted order deposits for the Nikola Badger. All right, so what was all that boring gobbledygook?
That was GM backing out of the deal.
No. They were just scaling back the deal. They're still going to work on a hydrogen semi-truck together.
Yes, but I think that this is just GM saving face. I really doubt that we're going to see a, Nikola GM partnership semi-truck rolling out of the factory door anytime soon.
Well, unless the factory floor is at a slight
if it's at
lean.
an angle,
yeah.
You never know. And unfortunately, this just means that it's another EV gone before its time.
All right, quick. How do you get the latest Tesla over-the-air update immediately in your car?
You got to bribe someone.
No.
Oh, how do you do it?
This. So Zach tweeted out from Black Model 3, just found a new Tesla tip for an update. If you press advanced 5 times in the software menu, it checks for updates, then it works. Had 3 friends and me test it. All worked first try. Also, holding advanced works too.
I have never had this work.
Oh, you tried it?
I've tried it. I learned about it quite a while ago. I was told not to share it with anyone, but it didn't work, which is another reason why I didn't share it, because it didn't work. But
hey, let's do a poll.
We'll do a poll because some people have had it work. Maybe I'm just always, getting in there with Wi-Fi and stuff, so maybe it's always checking. So we're going to do a poll on Patreon. If you want to support us for $2 or more a month, you can get access to our Patreon poll in addition to our Patreon bonus stories.
All All right, so speaking of hacks, according to White Hat Hacker Green, he posted this on Twitter. Some seriously cool and very practical information for the tinkering types. Tesla now gives access to repair manuals, service information, vehicle diagnostics, remote in the EU, and such for free. I was told it's not a bug. Seriously, step in the right direction.
That's awesome. I mean, this was stuff that was available before, but you had to like pay $100 an hour just to look at it. But now I guess you can access it for free. You know who we should talk to?
Who?
We should talk to Rich Rebuilds, because this is like his thing. You know?
All right, yeah, let's call him
Let's
up.
give him a call.
Hey, Rich, good to see you. We got a question for you. How do you feel about the rollout of the new Tesla toolbox that Green reported on?
All right, now I want to answer your question, but you got to put the gear on first, man. I'm sorry. I can't keep talking to you until the gear goes on your head.
What? Oh. Oh, I suppose I have to wear the hat too.
Yeah.
Okay, Rich, we're wearing your gear.
All right, now we're talking. Now I can answer the question. Nice. All right, so basically, I was really excited about the Tesla toolbox thing. I started getting a whole bunch of messages and emails and texts on my phone saying that Tesla finally released toolbox to everyone, and you could access your diagnostics from their website. I was super pumped. And when I saw the procedure on how to do it, it said you had to go through, I think, Tesla China, sign up for an account, and do a couple of things, which seemed kind of odd to me. So I was almost immediately skeptical of it. The fact that you had to go through like the Chinese website in order to get access to it. And then, I'm like, all right, I got to try it then. So I started working on it and I was denied. And it turns out, it was they closed that security loophole up. So they didn't really release it. They just kind of said, we can do this, but we're not going to give access to the regular folks. So they closed that loophole and now no one can get access again. So they didn't truly release it to everyone. It was kind of like one of those, like, this could be a thing, but it wasn't. It was shut down pretty quickly, unfortunately.
Well, thanks, Rich, for ruining the story.
Yeah, I got super excited. I was like, this is it. This is the change we all need. I was thinking to myself, this opens up a lot of possibilities for third-party repair centers, service centers, and it actually puts puts power in the consumer's hands. Like, if you bring your Tesla somewhere and you're in the middle of nowhere, any competent mechanic could actually troubleshoot and diagnose stuff if, a Tesla Ranger can't get to. But it turns out, the power is back in their hands again. They closed that loophole. And unfortunately, it's not for everyone. It's just back in Tesla's hands again.
Either that or you broke it for us.
It's funny. I woke up in the morning. I was like, wow, this is so cool. And let me log into it. And it didn't work. And then I went on a couple websites to see what people were saying about it. And a lot were getting really excited. But then a couple of comments down, they were like, hey, this doesn't work for me either. This was shut down a few hours after it was released. So
do you think that Massachusetts passing the Right to Repair Act, kind of part 2, is going to make a change for Tesla?
I do think so. Yeah, I think it's going to help. But I do think Tesla's going to fight it tooth and nail. It's not going to go down easily. I know they've already filed a lawsuit. Sorry, the Automobile Association, the coalition that's kind of fighting the right to repair. They've already filed a lawsuit against the Massachusetts Right to Repair Act already.
Although I heard that Tesla's not signed on to that.
Yeah, they're not signed on to it, but it's funny. I don't think they want to officially associate themselves with it, but they did send out that mass email to everyone encouraging people to vote one way versus the other. So they're not officially part of it, but they still support the cause in their own way. So I think it's going to help. I really do think it's going to help. I think in a couple more years, it's going to get probably a little bit better, but they're not going to make it easy for us. But eventually, I think we'll get there.
All right. Well, thanks, man.
All
I guess we can take off his gear now.
Yeah, jeez. All this gear is available at EcoWare.
That's right. Even Rich's stuff.
Yeah.
So we reported last week how GM had given their Cadillac dealers an ultimatum. Either pony up about $200,000 each in dealership upgrades like charging stations and EV repair and diagnostic tools, or leave GM.
Yeah, and the deadline was last week, so what happened?
Well, about 150 Cadillac dealers decided to leave. About 17% of GM's 880 U.S. dealers took the buyout offer, which ranged from $300,000 to $1 million. That leaves GM with about 730 U.S. Cadillac dealers.
So, I think a lot of people would be freaked out by this and be like, oh no, their dealership network just shrunk. I thought that was their Strength. I think that this is a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's good to leave behind the dealers that actually want to be in the network.
Yeah, you're kind of weeding out the ones that don't work, and you're paring down your dealership network, which isn't going to help Cadillac at all.
So Tesla tuber Bjorn Nyland tested a 2019 Model 3 without a heat pump versus a 2021 Model 3 with a heat pump in 3 degrees Celsius or 37 degree Fahrenheit weather.
He heated them both to 21 degrees Celsius or 70 Fahrenheit. So what did he find? How much more efficient was the heat pump version?
Well, without the heat pump, the Model 3 used 2,170 watts. With the heat pump, it only used 735 watts. That's 66% less energy to heat the cabin.
Wow. So what does this mean for a 200-kilometer drive in the winter?
Well, without the heat pump, you will use 15 watt-hours per kilometer more, or about 3 kilowatt-hours more energy. And that means when you get to the supercharger, it's going to take you an extra minute and a half to charge.
So the heat pump is going to make a pretty big difference. And I mean, superchargers aside, if you drive home and you park and you plug in, that could take you anywhere from 20 minutes to an hour to charge just to make up for the heat that you accepted into your body.
Yeah, it's incredible. I was expecting to see it's 10% more efficient. It's 66% more efficient.
That's amazing. And here's our buddy Jeff Roberts with an update on GigaTexas.
Hey Zach and Jesse, it's Jeff Roberts at GigaTexas, and it's time for another update. Just a ton of progress since our last update. More steel going up in the paint shop area. I think this is the paint shop. We all think it's the paint shop. 2 levels, in fact, reaching 75 feet or almost 23 meters high. And the crews seem to go in spurts where it'll look the same for 3 days, and then all of a sudden the next day you come and boom, it just doubled. So they could be material constrained as the flatbeds keep pouring in with more steel, concrete columns and beams and rebar, which you can see laying all over the site. And speaking of columns, we've got Tesla Hinge in the south stamping pit, which are building columns that will hold up the roof and walls, as well as create the track for the bridge crane that will travel north and south over the stamping machines. Then, in the east building area, about midfield, we've got what looks like the casting machine pit, allowing for approximately up to 10 gigapresses set up in a linear pathway. The prerequisite for this site is geopeering. This thing looked like the surface of the moon before Tesla started working on this, and so a lot of the ground needs to be fortified by geopeering, and these machines are continuing to go day and night. That's right, GigaTexas crews run 24/7 in 3 shifts, except certain holidays, of course, to allow more footers to be dug, poured, and prepped, getting ready to go vertical. The old plant has also been partially leveled and is being used as a temporary storage of things like switchyard components that arrive before the switchyard area is ready to rock and roll. The mobile double batch plant continues to fill cement mixer trucks nonstop to keep GigaTexas on schedule for December dry-in. Will we make it? Let us know what you think in the comments. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. If you want daily updates of GigaTexas, check out @PeterDog15. And if you want comprehensive coverage, check out all of the Quad Squad channels, Joe Tegtmeyer. Check out Randy at Terafactory, Texas, and Jack at Texas Terafactory. Well, thanks for watching. We'll see you next time, and now you know.
Wow. Thank you so much, Jeff, and to the Quad Squad for their amazing coverage of GigaTexas construction. I mean, I feel like I'm there every time I watch their videos.
And I highly recommend you go check out their channels and support them, because without them, we wouldn't know any of this stuff. It would have been like when they were building the Gigafactory in Nevada. Sometimes we would see a picture, and being able to know what they're doing all the time is amazing.
Do you think they're really going to be dry in by the end of this month?
It seems unlikely, but then again, Tesla does tend to impress, and they're working 24 hours a day. So.
Yeah. Tesla Time News is sponsored by Cybertruck Owners Club. There you'll find a crowdsourced reservation tracker that you can update and find your place in line.
Check out their website for Cybertruck news, discussions, and community for Cybertruck enthusiasts and future owners. And a 3D configurator allowing you to visualize the Cybertruck in any color, wrap, and logo, both on screen and in augmented reality.
And we're sponsored by EcoWare, where you're going to find free shipping on everything in the store, including the new designs.
My next truck is rust-proof.
Nice.
Not necessarily true, because we're getting the Rivian, but if you're getting the Cybertruck first, then this shirt applies to you.
Yeah. And a free way to help out the show is by using our Amazon link down in the show notes.
Yeah, by clicking on that link next time you are about to shop on Amazon anyway, about 4 or 5% of your purchase will go to help support our show, and it won't cost you anything.
As Amazon associates, we earn from qualifying purchases. Our friends over at Climate Exchange are doing another fabulous Tesla raffle, and this year it's even fabulouser.
Fabulouser. How can it be more fabulous than a chance to win a fully decked out Tesla?
Because this year, their 5th year running the raffle, they are offering the 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th place winners cash prizes totaling $20,000.
So let me get this straight. Not only could I win the grand prize, my choice of a fully decked out Model S, Model X, Model 3, or Model Y, and not only will Climate Exchange pay for all the taxes, but if I don't win the grand prize, I could still win thousands of dollars in runner-up prize money.
And the best part is that Climate Exchange is a nonprofit organization which educates and advocates for policies to accelerate our transition to a low-carbon economy at the local and state level. And all raffle proceeds go towards supporting their operational budget.
Actually, what I think is the best part is that they're only selling 4,000 tickets. So your chances of winning a Tesla are 1 in 4,000, and your chance of winning a cash prize are 1 in 1,000. When are you going to find better odds of winning and helping the planet?
It really is a win-win. Head over to carbonraffle.com now and enter. The drawing ends on February 26th, so don't wait. Makes a great holiday gift, too. So Elon was awarded the 2020 Alex Springer Award, given to outstanding personalities who are particularly innovative and who generate and change markets, influence culture, and at the same time face up to their responsibility to society.
During the live-streamed acceptance interview, Elon said this.
I'm extremely confident of achieving full autonomy and releasing it to the Tesla customer base next year.
Did you hear that?
What?
Full self-driving next year. He's very confident. Very confident Elon. Yes.
What? I mean, I can't believe that.
Well, he said it.
Wow. But I mean, what about, the government?
Well, Elon said, I think at least some jurisdictions are going to allow full self-driving next year.
That's exciting.
Now, another thing that came out during this little mini interview here was that Elon said that he's sleeping in the conference room in the not finished Berlin factory.
Really?
Where do you sleep tonight?
Tonight's in the factory.
In the factory, not in a hotel.
Well, technically in a conference room in the factory, but yeah.
You sleep in a conference room in the not finished factory tonight?
Yeah, it gives me a good feel for what's going on.
Alone or?
Yeah, I assume so.
So
sleeping in the conference room in the factory.
I think he likes sleeping in conference rooms.
Okay.
I think he slept in so many conference rooms in so many factories. I just think that he likes it.
Can you imagine being a worker who comes in the morning and you're like, oh, so tired. It's the boss.
I mean, can't they just build a bedroom in the factory?
I agree. I don't want him catching a cold on the floor.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's going to screw up his back.
Maybe his back is so screwed up that he needs to sleep on a concrete floor.
That could be it. Elon explained that to speed up Giga Berlin, they started building without permits. And when he was asked why, he said speed is a fundamental determinant of the competitiveness of any company.
That is a high IQ sentence.
Yeah, right.
There's a lot of letters in there.
You start building a factory without all the permits, and then you have to risk that if they pull one of those permits, you're not going to be able to finish the building.
Right. Well, they're not building with no permits. They have temporary permits.
Right.
It's just that those aren't permanent permits. You usually wait to get the permanent permits before you build.
Do you go to the permanent permit department? Hello, we will stamp your permanent permit. And he mentioned that at the end of 2022, they hope to reach 500,000 vehicles per year run rate.
And I mean, that's pretty amazing considering that all of Tesla has about that much run rate this year.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah. Now, what about Elon's hostile takeover quote?
Well, he didn't really say that. Here's what he did say.
Is it a serious option to buy one of the incumbents, one of the big car companies for you?
Well, I think we're definitely not going to launch a hostile takeover. So I suppose if there was someone...
But a friendly one.
If somebody said, hey, we think it would be a good idea to merge with Tesla, we'd certainly have that conversation. But, we don't want to, be a hostile takeover sort of situation.
Yeah, so you can see how the mass media just takes things out of proportion to try and get some clickbait going, to try and get eyeballs on a story. He basically said, yeah, if someone wants to work with us, but he didn't say I'm ready to take over somebody.
Right. Now, that's not the only award that Elon got recently. He also got an award from Fortune, their 2020 Businessperson of the Year award. And this is the second time he's won that award. The first time was in 2013.
But he also won the Automotive News 2020 All-Star Industry Newsmaker of the Year award sandwiched between these two great fellas.
Those are both auto company executives.
Yeah, Bill Ford, he's the executive chairman of Ford. He won the Leader of the Year award. And Akio Toyoda, the CEO of Toyota, won the Global CEO of the Year award.
Sounds like Automotive News didn't want to pick a company and we're just like, let's do participation trophies. That'll make everyone happy.
I think Automotive News wanted to keep their advertising department happy.
So we talked so much about Giga Berlin, but what's going on with Volkswagen?
Well, last Tuesday, VW Group's CEO Herbert Diess met with VW's supervisory board for 3 hours with no conclusion whether he would get a vote of confidence and get the contract extension that he's seeking. Now, there's another meeting scheduled for this week. We'll have to keep our eye on what's happening there. But is this a coincidence that Thomas Ulbrich, a VW board member and head of the e-mobility division, left the company?
So I don't understand what's going on here. Why is Diess having 3-hour meetings with the supervisory board?
Well, I think Diess's blog post that he posted on LinkedIn on November 28th could give us a bit of a clue. Like we've been reporting, Diess gets it when it comes to EVs. He even organized workshops with 31 senior executives from VW, Audi, and Porsche dubbed Mission T.
Mission T is in terrific?
T is in, it is going to be a race with Tesla, as Diess is quoted as saying. The opening question on his panel was, what do we have to achieve in the next 6 months to catch up with Tesla in terms of technology by 2024?
Wow.
All right, so Diess went on to say this in his blog post. Currently, the group's fleet of cars emits roughly 1% of global CO2 emissions. That's VW cars. For that reason alone, we have a special responsibility when it comes to combating climate change. My goal for the future is clear. Lead the group into a sustainable and successful future. The global transformation in the industry will take roughly 10 years, with or without Volkswagen. To mitigate climate change, we must electrify our powertrains. Advances in artificial intelligence, especially in situational perception, will soon replace drivers with a learning global neural network. That will make individual mobility sustainable, incredibly safe, and convenient. And he goes on to say, VW has to change utterly from a collection of valuable brands and combustion engine products that thrill customers with their superb engineering to a digital company that reliably operates millions of mobility devices worldwide, communicates constantly with customers, and improves services, comfort, and safety weekly or ideally daily.
So this all sounds great. I don't understand why he would be in trouble for saying any of this. I mean, I would understand if he was like, I'm going to the pool later, you guys, and I'm going to hang out and not do much as the CEO of this company. I would understand if Volkswagen supervisory, committee would be like, what is the meaning of this? Why are you just hanging around at the pool? Not good. You need to get to work. But he's saying, like, we need to do a lot of work, and I'm going to be the leader to do it.
Yeah, but see, you have to understand that VW is not owned by shareholders the way most companies you know of are owned by shareholders.
Wait, but I thought this was a public company.
It is a publicly traded company, but 53.1% of the company is controlled by the Austrian Porsche family.
Oh, it's a bunch of cars that own the company, and that's why they're all Porsches. They're all gas Porsches, and they're like, vroom, 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 which translated to English would say, this bad, don't do that. It's hard because they spoke in engine German. Translated to English, that's tough. But okay, so that's the problem, right?
No, they're not cars. They're people. And they're descended from Ferdinand Porsche, the original owner of the company.
Who was that again?
Ferdinand Porsche. He designed this.
I'm sorry, you meant to show like a Porsche, I'm assuming, right?
That is a Porsche.
Okay.
They actually named that tank after him. That's the Ferdinand.
But I mean, that was some time ago. He's not still around, is he?
No, so on the board right now is Ferdinand Porsche.
What? He's still alive?
No, I'm sorry. It's his great-great-grandson, Ferdinand Oliver Porsche. He's serving on the VW supervisory board.
Oh, okay. But wait, so the Porsche family owns a majority stake in the company.
And they also have full control of Porsche, the brand.
I still don't fully get why that's an issue.
I think you'll get a little insight into this by watching this clip from Matthias Döpfner, who's the CEO of Axel Springer, Who gave Elon that award last week?
I remember very well the year 2014 when we were hosting the Gold Steering Wheel here at Axel Springer, and you got the award for Lifetime Achievement. And I was sitting in the first row with the then very successful and famous CEO of a very big German car company. And I asked him, while you were on stage, isn't this guy dangerous for you? I mean, this looks really serious. He said, oh no, don't worry. First of all, the whole idea of electric driving, it's never going to be a mass market.
Sure,
Second, these guys,
heard that a lot.
These guys in Silicon Valley, they have no clue about engineering, about building really beautiful and great cars, so we don't have to worry. By then, Tesla's market cap was 23 billion. Today it's 536 billion US dollars. The market cap of VW then was 86, and today it's 77. And you are with Tesla 2.5 times bigger than BMW, VW, and Daimler.
So you see, we're talking about kind of the old guard here who don't really want to change their ways. We talk about this on our show all the time. Ford, GM, Toyota. It's just the same old thing. We think we can just keep building engines. We don't have to worry about electric cars for years.
Well, it all comes down to kind of profit. Like VW is going to have to probably go into debt to do all of this stuff. They're not just going to be able to be like, oh, you know this machine that makes engines? Well, you just click the little switch here, dip. Oh, now it makes electric cars. That's not how it works. You need to completely retool everything and everyone at the whole company, and that is not cheap, which means that for quarters and quarters and quarters, which is all they care about, you're going to not be profitable, and you're not going to be making the Porsche family money.
I mean, the key takeaway here is that what happens in the next few weeks is probably going to determine whether VW continues as a company or not.
Wait, so you think that they're actually going to get rid of Dees?
I'm not sure. I really don't know. I don't know which way it's going to go. They're obviously not happy with them because they haven't given him a vote of confidence yet. But if they yank him, then I think that's game over for VW.
And if he stays, you think that VW is going to succeed?
I think they have a better chance of succeeding because Dees does get it, but I don't know if they can catch up. He's already saying that Tesla's ahead by 4 years.
Wow.
So this is big news.
This is big news. We're going to have to follow this closely.
All right, so check this out, Jesse. Aptera is making this 3-wheeled solar-powered vehicle the paradigm that, according to them, never needs charging.
And that's because of the 180 small solar panels to give you up to 45 miles a day of range without plugging it in.
Yeah, that's 3 square meters or 32 square feet of solar panels on the car. And Aptera offers 4 battery sizes from 250 miles or 400 kilometers to 1,000 miles.
1,000 miles. No, I think you mean 1,000 kilometers, right?
No, 1,000 miles or 1,600 kilometers of range on their top end battery.
What?
Yeah, you're probably wondering how it does it, right? So first, it's lightweight. It only weighs about 1,800 pounds or 800 kilograms. Second, it has a drag coefficient of 0.13. Now, if you're like, I don't know what that means, well, the Model 3 has a drag coefficient of 0.23, and that's one of the most drag-efficient cars in the world.
And it's going to have a smaller cross-sectional area, which means, oh, okay, so even at speed, it's going to be super efficient, and it'll be lighter. Whoa.
Yeah, it uses less than 100 watt hours per mile.
Holy crap, we're talking like bike level.
I know, right? So Aptera is now taking refundable pre-orders for $100. The prices range from $25,900 to $46,900, depending on which battery and options you choose. Now, they've already sold out of the 400 and 1,000 mile versions, but I was lucky enough to be able to place an order for a custom one.
I don't think I have the bladder for 1,000 miles. I'll be honest.
We'll have to stop, I think. Yeah. But the cool thing is, I mean, you're gaining range as you drive if it's a sunny day.
That's amazing.
Yeah, these should be out in 2021, they say. So I'm going to be reaching out to the company and see if I can get an interview because I'm very intrigued. So it appears that according to the Detroit News, Michigan's legislature voted last week 65-39 to pass a bill, House Bill 6233, that appears to counteract Tesla's January settlement with the state by banning vehicle manufacturers from directly or indirectly owning a motor vehicle repair or service center.
Wait, I thought Tesla already couldn't operate in the state of Michigan because of the dealership association.
So basically, Tesla had sued the state of Michigan in 2016 because Michigan banned Tesla from selling and servicing in the state in 2014, when then Governor Snyder signed a bill into law that strengthened the existing statute that prohibited limited direct sales in Michigan. In January of this year, though, Michigan had negotiated a loophole that allowed Tesla to operate through a lot of weird legal workarounds. Like they had to set up their own corporation and you had to buy the car out of the state but bring it into the state. But anyway, the bill that the Michigan legislature was voting on last week was supposed to make those workarounds permanent. But in the last minute, an amendment was made to the bill that changed its meaning.
What? So they closed this loophole for Tesla, which I don't even think that there should be a loophole. And you might be saying, whoa, Jesse. No, I think that Tesla should be able to operate in the state of Michigan.
Agreed.
It's an American state.
Yep.
And you're saying that an American company can't operate in an American state because they don't have a dealership network?
Yeah.
I mean, what world do we live in?
Well, we will live in a world where Michigan's a powerful automotive state.
But, I mean, the Dealership Association?
They're powerful. The Michigan Auto Dealer Association has a lot of power in that state. So anyway, this bill still needs to be passed by the Michigan State Senate and then signed by the governor to make it a law. So it's obvious to me that the Michigan Auto Dealer Association had its hand in this. Michiganders, contact your state reps, your senators, and Governor Whitmer and urge them to vote down the bill.
I mean, Tesla has already opened a service center in Detroit earlier this year following the previous agreement, and that would mean that they would, have to close it?
Right. I mean, that's not fair. And also, how about Rivian? You have another company in your state that's making all-American vehicles in your state. Don't you want to support them?
Yeah, they're going to be direct sales models as well.
Exactly.
So, I mean, this idea that we're going to continue having car dealers, I mean, they are outdated already. You walk into a car dealer and you're like, what am I doing here?
Want to sign up for a car?
Yeah. Hey there, sonny boy. It's like, get back to the 50s where you belong.
How about some undercoating? So if you know someone in Michigan and you want to tell them the story, instead of sending the whole episode, which is an hour long, send them this clip. Head over to the Now You Know Clips channel where we've cut it into a bite-sized clip just for you.
So in Tesla's latest over-the-air update, 2020.48.5, released on November 30th, and 48.10, that soon followed December 5th, there are a bunch of small improvements and some new features.
Yeah, we've got new nav features, which at the moment are only available in China. Tesla says to improve navigation guidance through complicated highway junctions and city intersections, an image of the intersection with the highlighted lane guidance will now be displayed in the turn-by-turn instructions on the touchscrene.
Ugh.
What do you mean? Ugh?
I don't like it.
What do you mean?
I can see why it's only in China.
What? Don't you think this clears it up? Makes it easier to see what way to go?
No. That's like a TomTom feature from 2005.
Okay, but it still works though. Maybe the graphics aren't what you wanted, but like
terrible.
Okay.
I mean, Tesla could have done a better job. I think that this is literally a port from like Garmin or something.
Okay. So why'd they do it? Why didn't they work on it first? Like
Chinese roads might be a little bit more complicated than we're used to, or it's just harder to...
Hello, we live in Boston. The roads are the most complicated roads ever.
Yeah, but like you get used to it. I don't know.
You get used to it. Well, you don't need signs or lines for that matter.
Yeah.
Or roads, really.
You would just let it go back down to the cobblestone. If it was good enough for Paul Revere, it's good enough for us. All right, what else we got in this update?
We got text messaging interface updates. So Tesla says consecutive messages from the same sender will now be displayed and dictated together for an improved viewing and listening experience.
So when you get that long text from your grandmother, it's
hello, dear. Would you like either blankets for Christmas?
And it has to split it up into the multiple texts. You're not just going to get the last text where it's like, and anyway, your brother said hi. And you're like, what? So now we'll read them all in a row.
Yeah, and also on the Model 3 and Model Y, you can now use the steering wheel's right scroll wheel to easily dismiss an incoming text message or re-record an outgoing text message with a double press.
That's a fantastic feature.
All right. Third update here is Tesla's updated Sentry Mode. They say Sentry Mode footage of the last panic event will now be saved to onboard memory. To view or save this clip, plug in a USB device, launch the dashcam viewer, and tap the save icon on the bottom right corner of the screen. Wait, so
this is so smart.
Wait, what does this do?
So remember we talked a couple weeks ago with Bobby Cobb from Today's Collision, and he was talking about how some people don't know how to use Sentry Mode. Their car gets into an accident or gets hit by another car, and because they don't know who did it, because they don't have any video footage of it, they have to end up paying the deductible on their insurance to get that covered because it's a hit and run. If you know who hit your car, you don't have to pay that deductible, which could save you thousands of dollars. So here's the really cool part. For people who haven't installed a USB drive into their car to act as their Sentry Mode storage device, it's going to save the clip on the Tesla itself.
Oh.
The files are in the computer.
So then you just go run and grab a USB stick and stick it in there.
So that is going to save people a whole bunch of hassle.
That's nice.
And it's the last panic event, not the last century mode event. So it wouldn't work for someone keying your car, but if your car got hit, which is going to probably be the most expensive, it would work for that.
Hey, I think a good stocking stuffer idea would be to get a USB stick for someone that you love who drives a Tesla. The fourth thing that Tesla has announced is that there's a new way to unlatch charging cables in the S and X. They say you can now press the small black button to the left of the charge port inlet to unlatch the charge cable when your car is unlocked. This may be particularly useful when charging with charge cables that do not have a release button on the connector handle.
I didn't know that was a button.
I don't know if on Sparky it is a button. I'll have to go check. I thought it was just a little rubber dot.
I thought it was just a rubber dot. That's all I thought it was.
Let's go push it.
They hit a button on us. We were like, this car's so cool, it doesn't have any buttons. They hit one on us.
Wow. And then lastly, maybe the most important thing is the Trax update, version 0.2.
Trax is now redesigned to help you create audio masterpieces with just a few taps. Quickly preview and mix sounds with a new drum machine and instrument selector, or use new tools and volume controls to reorder, loop, and mix tracks.
I have a little challenge.
Okay.
If Martin's watching right now, I think he should run out to his Model 3 and make us a song.
I agree.
Don't you?
Yeah.
I understand that Trax wasn't up to the task before, but I think the new version 0.2 is probably good enough.
Yeah. And if he wants to take a break from the marble machine, make a little keyboard that uses the little stylus pads.
Don't give him more work to do.
I don't want to give him more work to do. No, you're right.
All right, so this should give you some insight into how the mainstream press works. A couple of weeks ago, UK press outlets, The Times, The Telegraph, and The Daily Mail, all put out stories about how EVs have to travel as far as 50,000 miles to match the carbon footprint of a gas car.
That doesn't sound accurate.
It's not. They base their reporting on this report titled Decarbonizing Road Transport. There is no silver bullet. That was supposedly commissioned by companies such as Honda, McLaren, Aston Martin, and Bosch.
Well, I guess if it's a study, then it was studied by some studiers who know how to study studies.
Well, Michael Liebrich from Bloomberg's NEV and Auke Hofstra, who researches EVs at Eindhoven University of Technology, they dug deeper. And what did they find? Auke said, this new study claims it takes 48,000 miles for electric vehicles to emit less CO2 than gasoline cars, but it's just a misleading brochure. Reality is closer to 16,000 miles. UK media, including The Times, were misled by this car maker paid attack on Boris Johnson's green plans.
So it's 16,000 miles.
Yeah. Get this, there's no researchers involved in this study. Auke goes on, there were no researchers involved in this study as far as I can see, and there are no original recorded results. It looks like some lobbyists and a PR firm produced a brochure for their list of sponsors, a who's who of anti-EV organizations.
Holy crap.
Now, another part of the story that really makes me mad is that these study authors tried to cover their tracks. The study appears to be published by Clarendon Communications. Now, who are they? So after some research, it turns out that the only director of Clarendon is James Michael Stevens, who also appears to be the director of government and external affairs at Aston Martin, an auto company which in January killed their only EV, the Rapid E.
Wait. So this study came out and everyone went, it's a study.
Let's print it.
Print it. But if you peel back the thin veneer of BS, you find that it's basically a car company that made a fake thing to say EVs suck.
No.
And we're not going to do any research about it. We're just going to say that it sucks, printed on a thing. That's a study here. Go do whatever you're going to do with it.
Yeah, so it's bad enough that ICE car companies put out a fake study that gives false info about EVs, but they then, to top it off, real news organizations just take this crap and run stories on it without doing any fact checking. No wonder so many people have myths about EVs stuck in their heads.
So, I think that it's completely justified to be mad at, Aston Martin and this fake study firm, and it was commissioned by all of these, automakers to find out the real stuff. That's one thing. But to have news organizations, their whole job, right, is to bring you the truth. That's like Journalism 101.
I think the new Journalism 101 is to bring you the press releases. They basically just regurgitate whatever comes across their desks.
And with no thought, no just like, well, that's what the study's done. I guess I'll print it on the internet for people to read.
And then it's just stuck in people's heads.
Because most people don't have a letter to the editor. There's no guarantee that if they were to, have a letter to the editor or to redact that story, it doesn't undo the damage in people's minds where they're like, well, I heard a thing and it said this.
EVs suck.
And people aren't held to the same level of responsibility that literally anything else is. You know, journalists are supposed to be held to a certain level, but people aren't. So when they get something wrong, you can't be like, you're wrong and I'm going to sue you. You can't do that because that's not how social interactions work. But they can just go on thinking they're dumb, wrong stuff for as long as they want. No, I still think I read, I heard, I thought.
And they can pass on this article. I read it in the Times.
Yeah. You know, it's not their fault. It's the journalist's fault for not doing their frickin' research. If you find an article in the world and it's like, EVs suck, the first thing you should do is like, does it? Do they?
Right.
Really? Let me do my research. And then once you do the research, you should show it to someone else and be like, I did the research and I think so, but...
Or just read the study and see if there's no data in the study.
Or find out who did it. Who are these people? Oh, it's a guy who works at Aston Martin and literally no one else?
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't print this story because it's not true.
It took them only like a day and $4 to find out the answer. So it wasn't like heavy duty research to find it. It's just, it's
It makes
sad.
me steaming mad.
I know.
Ugh. Well, let's talk about some positive.
Yeah. Next segment is Going Green. So Japan plans to ban gas cars. Japan's public broadcaster NHK has reported that Japan's economy ministry wants to ban the sales of new vehicles that run entirely on gas by the mid-2030s. This follows Prime Minister Yoshihide's pledge to cut Japanese greenhouse gas emissions to net zero by 2050.
Now, you said that they want to ban cars that run entirely on gas. Can you elaborate on what that means?
Well, unfortunately, it looks like that they'd still be allowing hybrids, most likely because of Toyota and the Prius. There's a lack of Japanese automaker EVs. I mean, there's the Honda E and I think Mazda's coming out with one next year. Yeah, so now we've got this basically a new scale, right? We've got the UK, which is going to ban all gas-burning cars by 2030. We've got California, which is going to ban them by 2035. We got France, who's going to ban them by 2040. From now on, I guess we can refer to it as the UK-France scale, you know?
Well, no, because there's way off on the very far ends of the scale is everybody else.
Right.
Now, I mean, honestly, it sounds great. I just think it sucks because you can literally just be like, well, we taped a drill to the side of the car. It technically doesn't run exclusively on gas, so it's a hybrid.
That's a good point. All right, it's time for Into the Future. So the city of Boulder, in partnership with Fermata Energy, is piloting a V2G program at the North Boulder Recreation Center. Instead of the chargers at the rec center just charging EVs will be able to power the building too, or V2B, vehicle to building.
So cars will charge at night when demand and electricity costs are low. Then during the day, when rates are higher, the cars will be able to power the building, saving the city money on electricity bills.
In September, Boulder adopted the Go EV City Resolution, which declares the city's support of electrifying their transportation. Now, the city already has 21 EVs.
Cool. What kind of EVs they got?
Well, to make this work, I think they have to be Nissan Leafs, because those are the only cars that I know of that currently have V2G, the bidirectional charging.
That's so weird. But I mean, I guess if that's what you're aiming to do, then it definitely makes sense.
Well, listen to this quote from David Slutsky. He's the founder and CEO of Fermata Energy. He said, if a quarter of the cars in the U.S. were Nissan Leafs, there would probably be enough energy storage equivalent to the entire grid. I think the scalability of V2G is so huge, it will truly disrupt both the auto industry and the electric power industry globally. So I'm not crazy. There's someone else out there who believes in V2G like I do.
So a quarter of the U.S. fleet were Nissan Leafs. Now, Nissan Leafs do not have gigantic batteries.
No, they have tiny batteries.
We're talking in the 40 kilowatt hour range.
Yeah.
That's a zinger right there. That's amazing.
All right, it's time for sunspots. So Vote Solar conducted a study using advanced grid planning tools called Wisdom P, which spent days analyzing over 1.5 trillion data points of the grid, and they released this report, Why Local Solar for All Costs Less, a new roadmap for the lowest cost grid.
So what were the results?
So they said that if 25% of U.S. homes installed solar, that would be 247 gigawatts of local rooftop solar and community solar for those who can't install solar on the roofs. It would be the cheapest way for the U.S. to transition to a clean energy grid. They say that ratepayers would save $473 billion by 2050. That would be $88 billion cheaper than if we did nothing. And it would create over 2 million local jobs.
So installing solar on roofs and community solar, but 25% of the roofs. I don't understand.
Yeah, you would only need to put solar on 25% of American roofs. You wouldn't have to cover every single roof in America, just 1/4.
to save that much money.
Save that much money and transition our grid to about 95% clean.
I just don't get it.
Well, I mean, most roofs that you see right now that do even have solar aren't fully utilized for solar because most grids don't accept solar 100%.
Oh, they don't want you to have 100% solar because then it's like, well, why do I need the grid
You're cutting
anymore?
in on our business, see?
Right. And actually, we have a friend in town who has a pretty much fully decked out roof, and he's able to fully charge all of his electric vehicles, do everything in his house, and still have some left over because he covered his whole roof.
Right.
What? So you only need to cover a quarter of the roofs.
Yeah.
That's a wow. Okay.
Yeah. Now, if you want to get solar on your roof, but you have lots of questions, which of course you do, contact our friends over at Energy Pal. They're the energy experts that help homeowners go solar for less. You can use our link down in the show notes below. All right, it's time for video contributor stories. What do we got this week, Jess?
We've got our friend Greg from Pennsylvania who did a really cool road trip. Let's check it out.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Greg here from Pennsylvania. I wanted to tell you about a trip that my 10-year-old daughter and I took across the country over the summer, back in July. We rode the Zero motorcycles. It's a 2019 DS with a power tank, so it's 18 kilowatt hours of battery on board. We rode it across the country. I'm outside of Philadelphia here. We ended up in Santa Cruz, California, Scotts Valley area, actually near the Zero Motorcycles factory. We took the northern route, up through like Minneapolis, across the Dakotas, Montana. Spent some time at Yellowstone National Park, as well as some other locations. Did a lot of camping along the way. And it was no problem with the Zero. It has a custom charging setup on it. I can charge up to 10 kilowatts. I can charge off of Tesla plugs, J1772, or any other type of plug. I have all kinds of adapters. So just wanted to share that with you. And we're not the first to go across country on electric motorcycles, and we're certainly not going to be the last. Hopefully this inspires some other people to take additional trips. Now you know. Thanks for watching.
Wow.
Wait, so he did a road trip on a motorcycle with his daughter on the back?
Yes.
And it's an electric motorcycle.
And a fully electric road trip.
That's so awesome.
That was.
We have awesome community, don't we?
I feel better about myself, even though I didn't even do anything. Greg, that was awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, it's time for our Patreon bonus stories, and we're going to be talking about a company with a fleet of autonomous cars. So I think you're going to want to go check that out. So head on over to patreon.com/nowyouknow, and for as little as $1 a month, you can see all of our bonus stories. See you there. All right, we're back from the Patreon bonus stories.
That was not the company I was expecting you to talk about.
All right, it's time for the Patreon shout-outs. These are people that support us for $5 or more a month. Who do we got this week, Jess?
We've got Charles Thompson,
Patricio Ortega,
Hernan Martinez,
Kunst Metal,
Chase Blanchard,
Joseph Rogers,
Jimmy Dew,
Kurt Gerlach,
Guido Broghammer,
that's a cool name, Joshua Cindy,
Walter O. Jackson,
Michael LaBarbera,
Hamlet Machine,
Stephen Huang,
Barry Losecke,
Leonard Carrot,
Karsten Quillitz,
and Devichin Timofey. Thank you so much for being our patrons. We couldn't do the show without you. All right, it's time for Elon's tweets of the week. 2 starships. What?
Those aren't real. Don't worry. Those are photoshopped in. That's the representation according to RGV aerial photography.
And Elon said, it will be real soon.
That's awesome.
And then Tom Mueller said, I retired from SpaceX today. Thank you, Elon. It was quite a ride.
Elon said, thanks for everything you did to help build SpaceX. Some of the best memories ever.
And Tom was one of the 3 co-founders of SpaceX.
Wow.
And then Elon tweeted out, Prometheus Unbound.
Is that a new movie?
Well, that was a play from 1820 by Shelley. And Prometheus was a titan who stole fire from the gods. So is he referring to how like humans will use Starship to bring life to other planets?
So we would be the gods?
Maybe.
With the fire of life.
Right.
Okay.
Then Elon really wants us to watch Demolition Man.
He said, watch Demolition Man!
So I guess that's what we'll be doing.
Okay.
The Pope of Mascanity said Demolition Man predicted so much. Schwarzenegger's political career, internet video calls, self-driving cars, Wesley Snipes as a criminal with tax evasion, teleconferences, tablet computers, the rise of social justice warriors, social distancing, YouTube instructional videos. And Elon said,
and no toilet paper. I don't think I've seen Demolition. I guess I have to go watch it.
I guess so. We're going to be busy. Richard Angle says, I'm thinking Starship looks pretty awesome and I can't wait to see it fly here soon. Boca Chica definitely has an amazing feeling. And Elon said,
yes, it does.
All right. So we had a Patreon poll last week. What did we ask?
We asked, what would you do in a robotaxi? And I don't think that I phrased the question correctly. I don't know. I didn't get the responses that I thought we were going to get.
Oh,
so
okay.
first of all, we asked this kind of as a general question. A lot of people put in some responses. We took the most popular responses and put them in a poll, a gigantic poll. The most popular response was sleep. Most people would like to sleep in a robotaxi.
Okay, why do you think that's...
Yes, I agree.
Okay.
The second one is taking the scenery. I don't think that anyone's going to be doing...
Oh, I disagree. I think a lot of people who don't have autopilot now and don't realize how much you can actually like take in the scenery are dying to take in the scenery because normally they're like this.
Yeah, I think that your frame of mind is the problem here. It's not that you're going to be sitting facing forward in a robotaxi with a steering wheel.
Yeah.
It's that you're going to be at a table.
Right, but you could be looking out the side. And
Yeah, but you're going to be at a table.
Maybe.
Or you're going to be...
That's what they want to do.
Or someone is going to be, with you.
Okay, what's the third answer?
The third answer was get some work done, which I think...
There you go.
I want there to be different things. I want there to be...
What do you want?
I don't know, indoor skydiving and a...
They haven't thought of it yet because they haven't imagined it. It's going to happen. Don't worry. It's going to happen. All right, it's time for community mail time. So Bob said, hey, Zach and Jesse, my wife and I recently spent a week visiting the national parks in Utah from Los Angeles. This is the first time traveling and staying in hotels in small towns far away from any supercharger, but it was fairly easy to find other charging stations near the hotels, J1772s, NEMA 1450s, or destination chargers. I'd plug in at night and we were good to go in the morning. Oh, and autopilot was worth its weight in gold. The scenery reminds me of Mars. Keep up the good work. From Bob. Well, thank you, Bob.
So a couple weeks ago, Robin had gotten into an accident. We actually talked about this on Community Mail Time. They had gotten a replacement. Well, Robin just got their car back. It is
all fixed.
Good as new.
Nice. And Joe got their car wrapped. Check that out. That's pretty slick.
That's slick.
And now we're going to hear from Robert from New Zealand.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Kia ora from New Zealand. Just Robert here, letting you know that last weekend we had a grand opening of a 300 kilowatt hypercharger at Bombay, just south of Auckland. This was a great facility that ChargeNet have managed to open up for us. There are two 300 kilowatt hyperchargers, and there's the ability to charge up to 4 vehicles at one time. Steve West and his crew at ChargeNet have done a wonderful job getting the network up and running throughout New Zealand with over 300 chargers that are under their control. And they've been instrumental in getting the uptake of electric vehicles in New Zealand to the level that it currently is. Got a few photos and a few links for you to have a look at, but I won't take up too much time. Thanks very much, and congratulations on your show. Bye.
Oh, thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That looked like a fun event. Also, New Zealand, you don't have COVID. Damn it. You're so lucky. And John and Suzanne got their new Model Y. All right, get this. We're not the only crazy people that take gas mowers and convert them into electric mowers. Our friend turned his mower into this.
Wow.
So it's got two sealed gel deep cycle 22 amp hour batteries, a 32 amp 24 volt motor, and he used a 40 amp circuit breaker and a 60 amp speed controller. It runs for 2.5 hours.
Wow. 2.5 hours. That's
a lot of mowing.
That's a lot of mowing. And Graham's sister just got a new MG ZS EV.
I remember we talked about that a couple weeks on the show. That's in Australia. And then Graham's sister also has solar, so their new MG is running primarily on sun juice.
Nice. And Sean just got his Model X, and I also want to wish a happy birthday to our lifelong fan, Benny.
Oh,
happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Benny. All right, it's time for Supercharger Reviews, and this is sponsored by our friends at Evannex, the Tesla community's accessory store. If you're looking for awesome accessories for your Tesla, then check out Evannex and use our discount code NowYouKnow to save you $10 on your purchases over $100.
Hi, Zach and Jesse. Welcome to Fort William, the gateway of the Highlands of Scotland. This is our new supercharger that we have here. 6 stalls, version 3, 250 kilowatts. Unfortunately, that means S and X owners in the UK will have to have converted cars in order to be able to use them. For Model 3 owners like myself, they are fantastic, and we've been waiting for these for 2 years, and they open up the Western Highlands fantastically. Especially if you're going on the North Coast 500 route, around the very north coast of Scotland, this is your starting point. Behind me is Ben Nevis. It's the highest mountain in the whole of the British Isles. and a very spectacular place it is too. Fort William itself, the town, we're very near the town centre, we're near a supermarket and cafes and such like, so there's reasonable amenities. I give this altogether a 7 out of 10. Now you know.
Hi, Zach and Jesse, this is Chris coming to you from the new 12-stall version 3 supercharger in Palmdale, California. It's at the Antelope Valley Mall, and it was just turned on today, but it's not even on the map yet. So I would rate this probably a 8 out of 10. There's a lot of shopping, a lot of stores here. No Starbucks, wish there was a Starbucks. There's a couple Starbucks about a mile away, but definitely a good spot, and plenty of restaurants, and that's about it for now. Thanks.
Hey, Zach and Jesse, Mike Wida. We're in Valdosta, Georgia at the brand new version 3 supercharger. It's 8 stalls. It should be showing up on the Tesla map pretty soon. We plugged in to test and it is charging, which is awesome. There's a Moe's that has a drive-through. There's a smoothie stand inside. They sell fried chicken, Southern fried chicken, and all the convenience items. The location is awesome. It is right off the highway, really easy to get to. There's a lot of lodging options off this exit as well, and a lot of other restaurant options. So for that, I give this a 10 out of 10. And now you know.
Kia ora koto katoa, everyone, especially for Jesse and Zach. My name is Nawel. I'm currently living in New Zealand. This is the 4-stall 120 kilowatt supercharger located in Whangarei. It's actually the newest and northernmost supercharger in all New Zealand. And fun fact is that 80% of electricity comes from hydro or geothermal, so 80% of electricity in New Zealand is renewable, which is super cool and something that makes me really happy. Whangarei is the biggest city in the Northern Island, but there's still way more country up north, so hopefully we will see more superchargers opening way north. So now you know.
Wow, a lot of New Zealand happening in this episode. I think I have an idea. We'll talk about it at the end of the show.
Okay. All right, what do we got for new superchargers this week?
Got new superchargers. Got the 8-stall version 3 in Hotel Montana at Ellwagen in Germany.
We got the 6-stall 150 kilowatt in Biberweer, Austria.
We have supercharger number 10 in New Zealand, the one that we just saw.
Wait, there's 10 superchargers in New Zealand?
Yes, this is a 4-stall 120 kilowatt in Whangarei in New Zealand.
There's the 4-stall 250 kilowatt in Kosice, Slovakia.
The 8-stall version 3 in Irvine at Walnut Avenue, California.
There's a 6-stall version 3 in Braintree. What, Braintree, Mass?
No.
We should go see it.
No. Braintree, United Kingdom.
Oh, right, yeah.
But that one has battery storage.
Oh, nice.
And number 942 in the United States, 2053 in the world, the 12-stall version 3 in Peachtree Corners, Georgia.
All right, it's time for our Patreon giveaway.
All right.
What do we got this week?
Here was the idea that I had.
What is that?
Poster Envy sells a poster that is from Flight of the Conchords.
Nice.
So
Murray, I love this. This is like, I mean, this is, you remember Flight of the Conchords when they're in Murray's office and he's always got a New Zealand poster.
The tourism.
All right, well, let's see who's won this.
All right.
That's your job.
I'm sorry.
You've only done it 222
great
times.
Idea. It was just such a great idea. I just thought,
All right, to get in this big barrel of fun, you can become our Patreon, and the more you support us, the more times you get your name in the barrel. Who's our winner this week?
The winner this week is Muttley.
Muttley! Congratulations, Muttley. Where do I sign such a thing?
The rolling hills of beautiful New Zealand. It's like Scotland, but further. And you've reached the end of our show, so congratulations on doing that. Give yourself a pat on the back and hit the like button, so that way everyone will know that you watched it to the end of the show. You can also
helpful.
Leave a comment. All of those things somehow helped the show because YouTube decided that is the way that it will measure success on YouTube.
Yeah, kind of
hitting a button and commenting on a video.
And, you know, I would get that back when they started, what was it, 10 years ago or something? But, like, there's been time to think about that a little bit longer,
It's
YouTube.
2020,
yeah, I mean, there's got to be a better way. But anyway, keep sending in your video contributor stories, your community mail time, photos of you in your cars wearing your EcoWare gear, because we love getting them and we love sharing them, because this is a fantastic community. And I don't want you to forget about the Now You Know Investor Club. I hung out on the Slack there on the Investor Club the other day for 2 hours, and I just lost track of time because it was so much fun. There's so many great people there asking questions, helping me to come up with ideas. I was just brimming with ideas afterwards. And I actually invested in a couple stocks right after I got off it. So anyway, if you want to help us out on the show, head on over to patreon.com. At the $10 level, you join our investor club where we have a monthly live stream. We have presidents of companies there. We have all sorts of talk about things we can't talk about here. So we'd love to see you there.
And thank you again for watching. We'll see you next week. Now you know.